Welcome to the Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of the Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to the Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life. No matter what you do in life, your business, your relationships, your family, even the job that you go to, when you bring the best you to it, you have a way of making it your own. You have a way of bringing the energy of you, the essence of you into that position or that job or that relationship. It's not about overcoming or overwhelming the others that are involved. It's about bringing your energy in a way that supports those people around you, that supports the business or supports the relationship. It helps you build a stronger union of all the people involved because you're bringing your authenticity. You're bringing your realities, your understandings, all to make the synergy of the group or the synergy of the relationship stronger and better for each and every one of you in that relationship or in that business. It's really about bringing the best you to the world, and bringing the best you to the world helps you build the best of everything around you. I'm with Michelle Bonahoom today, and as a founder of Vision One, Michelle is passionate about working with mid-market business owners to increase their value in preparation for sale, strategic acquisitions, and transferring to the next generation of leadership. She has worked with over 100 different companies as they prepare for key critical transitions. Over the past 20 years, Michelle has accumulated diverse experience as a business owner, private investor, consultant, and advocate for mid-market companies who are seeking to stabilize, achieve added value, achieve high-performance results, and leave a legacy for the next generation. Michelle, are you ready to share the miracle of you with the imagination?
I am.
Excellent. It's so good to have you here. Michelle's in Minnesota. So she's experiencing a little bit of the summer weather up there right now. So we're going to do our best to make sure that we can give you a steady flow through for the show today. Michelle, one thing that I'd really like to hear more about is you and why you're bringing this type of work to companies.
Yeah, so my mission is really to help people be the best versions of themselves in a way that they're inspired to help others. And so I've done that my whole life. I've been a business owner my whole life. And I know that I've bought and sold companies. I know the challenges of it. But I also know the great joy that comes from being able to realize, number one, as an individual that you're being the best version of yourself. But then collectively as a business, that's really how you increase value, is by just bringing a whole bunch of people together that are being the best versions of themselves. And so it's been my passion, and it gives me the greatest joy to be able to come alongside of a business owner and to have him say, you gave me hope because I just realized who I am and I allowed others to be who they are. So.
You're a woman after my own heart, and bringing people that are bringing their best selves to your business to create the best business for sure. Tell me a little bit about the wake-up call that brought you to where you are right now.
Yeah, so I've been in consulting for 15 years, coming alongside of business owners and helping them to make sure they have their priorities in order, and making sure that they are intentional about what they do, and have practiced it throughout that time. But in 2017, that's when I kind of had my big wake up call. I remember leaving my last appointment. I was tired. I was ready to come home and talk with my husband about what we were going to do to get life in order. And I remember leaving that appointment saying, at least it can't get any worse than this. And I came home and I sat in my garage and I took one last call. And suddenly my daughter came out and said, you got to come quick. Something's wrong with Dad. And I came in and I walked in, and unfortunately he had unexpectedly passed away at the age of 45 of undiagnosed heart disease. And suddenly I found myself a widowed mother of 4 preteen teen kids. I had 2 businesses that weren't ready for me to step away in the way that I needed to step away. I was 315 pounds and I had 7 diagnoses and 5 medications. And so my wake up call was that I needed to practice what I preached, and I needed to live my mission, which my mission was to, bring out the best version of myself in a way that others do. I needed to be a role model for my kids. And so I turned to what I knew and turned to all the same tools and resources I used with business owners. In less than 18 months, I lost over 100 pounds. I turned around all of those diagnoses. I improved the relationships with my kids, and my businesses were thriving without me. Obviously, they needed me, but there were a lot of things that I had been holding on to that I shouldn't have done. And so it was a huge wake up call for me to say, it's one thing, I was talking about practicing what I preach, and I wasn't. And so it helped me to see how important that is, to be able to live the best version of myself in a way that inspires others.
I shared with you before we started recording that sometimes I wander off and never land because of something somebody says. You shared something that I really think will help the imagination if they could understand a little bit more where you came from and how you found that motivation. Now having 4 preteen children is a lot of motivation for a mom to pick up and move on from there. But it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. How were you able to pick up and move from the place of being in that overwhelm of that wake up call into really stepping forward?
Well, so, we have a change model that we use that walks us through steps. And the first step was, what's your mission, your values, and your vision, and get that solid foundation. And so I really took some time to just say, what is important to me? And if I need to be a role model for my kids, that's where I need to start. And what's my vision? And I'd had a trusted advisor give me advice early on and he had said, keep a journal. And so I'd written a journal of all the dreams I had, all of the words people had spoken over me, the things that I felt that I needed to accomplish in my life. And so I pulled that journal out and I read through it, and it didn't say Michelle's life is over. It said there's a lot that still needs to be accomplished. And so I used that as my anchor to then start the process of saying what mindsets need to change, what things do I need to be doing differently, how do I need to use my strengths to be able to get through this? But ultimately, it was coming back to that mission of I need to be a role model for my kids. And so if I want them to get up and get on, I need to get up and get on. So.
Oh, very, very powerful. And thank you for sharing that. I know it's a place that is a motivator for you, but it's also a motivator for so many other people to realize that we do have that inside of us. We have that drive. We have that power. We have the knowingness that we're here for a reason, and that reason needs to be at the surface and moving forward with it. So what in the microcosm of the mid-market business is the business owner or the CEO, if you will. How do you find as you walk into a business how that person and how they're living their best self is reflected in the business?
Yeah, well, as business owners, we bring ourselves to that business. And so it impacts our decisions, it impacts our cultures, it impacts even the people we hire. And so if we're not able to be our best version of self, we can't attract people or give them permission to be the best versions of themselves. And so that really is the foundation of the work we do. And we do a lot of turnaround work and transformation work. And that's always where we start is you as a leader, or even a core leadership team, or who are the key leaders in your organization. Let's get you to know who you are. Let's get you to know other people. And then let's start setting clear expectations around systems and processes and things. But it's not until you know who you are that you can model what you need, what you want to have modeled for others. And you can't bring out the gold in others if you don't see it in yourself.
Right, for sure. And you're a little bit different guest than I normally have on the show, so I'm going to kind of take you in a couple different directions because it's a great opportunity for the imagination to hear some things from the other side of the business world a little bit. So bear with me here as I put the questions
Sure.
together. The first thing I'd like to ask is one of the things that we're really big on Imagine Miracles is for people to find their divine intent or their mission in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I've noticed through my work and bringing people to that place and the coaching that I do, that a lot of business owners or even business or upper level management, let's say, are in a business that really doesn't match their mission in life. Do you come across that, and how do you help these people deal with that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's unfortunate. I think a lot of times, business owners get into business, or even leaders get into business, and they have a heart, it's their internal mission that's driving them towards it, but they maybe either lose sight of that or they don't know how to line it up. And so one of the first things we do is we really help them to understand what their mission is, whether it's their individual mission or their mission as a company, and then to be able to look for the evidence of where it is lining up. Because ultimately we wouldn't show up every day if we weren't lining it up. But sometimes we only have a grid for it to look a certain way. And so we really help them to see you can be, we have a term it's called act as if. If you want to see something in the future, start acting as if today you're living it, right? And so I think the same is true with your mission. If my mission is to bring out the gold in others, how do I act as if today, even if it doesn't feel like I've got that opportunity in my job to be able to do that? And what ends up happening is when you start to act as if, the power of intention allows you to, number one, see that it's probably been right in front of you all along and you were just missing it. But then number two, it brings those opportunities for you to live your mission.
When you find that, let's just say with the business owner, because my audience would be more the business owner than the exec. As a business owner, have you found business owners? This is the best way to put this. Have you found business owners that weren't aligned with their mission, and can they get aligned with their mission in the business if it's not a business that is truly taking them towards their mission? Can they realign the business, or can they change the business to reflect what their mission is?
Yeah, I mean, well, business owners have, they're kind of the creator of culture and they're creator of their business. So they have more opportunity maybe to do that than others. However, we really try to reinforce that no matter where you are in the business, you've got the control to do that. I think where the biggest gap that I see in working with business owners is they haven't thought about it. They haven't really defined their mission and what it means. I work with a client right now where their mission is to put people first. But they haven't really taken the time to define what that means. And that can be very broad. What does that mean? And so now in the time of riots and polarities and everything, there's a lot of people saying, well, you're not necessarily putting people first because you're not on this polarity or that polarity. And so we walk them through a process of, well, what does that mean to you? And once you start to get people to see what their mission means to them, first of all, even to have one, or define it, name it, but then to know what it means, then you can start to really see how you do have it existing in your organization or some of the things you need to change to line up to it, because your systems, your processes, your cultures all need to line up to your mission, your values, and your vision. And if they don't, you're losing value. So we help them to see that through the lens, because a lot of times business owners think that mission stuff is fluffy. I got to get to the nuts and bolts of business. And what we help them to see is that really the nuts and bolts of business really is the outcome of the recipe, the simple recipe of your mission, your values, your vision, and how you're serving your customer.
My advanced degrees in human resources, the emphasis was on training and development, but I still have that human resource part of me that's floating around up there. Have you seen, or maybe even you teach it through Vision One, how to hire people with a mission that supports the overall mission of the company?
Yeah, we do that. I mean, so what we do is, the first part of I referenced our change model, and we take that same change model. It's 7 simple steps to any kind of change. And so that's whether you're hiring somebody or you're trying to merge 2 organizations together, or you're trying to coach somebody around their performance. It all starts with mission. And then, so when you're hiring, then you need to be looking for those same characteristics, and making sure that you're finding people that are driven towards that mission and that vision and those values. And then our performance management systems align to those. And so it's really important that your mission isn't a statement on the wall. It needs to be something that's really lived, because culture is formed, a majority of culture is formed under the surface. And so it's going to live regardless. It's better for you to bring it to the surface and make sure people know what it means, because your mission might mean something different to me unless you've unpacked it for me.
Could you share a turnaround that you've personally helped bring about in one of the small market businesses?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the middle of one right now that really didn't have a mission. It was 2 companies that were coming together, and they had 2 different cultures. And they thought they had the same cultures because they had the same words on the wall, but those words meant something different. And so we've been really helping them to see, what does it mean to really say what our mission is, what our vision is. And through that, a lot of the challenges of business decisions, whether we work from home or not, how we hire, who we hire, do we need to control things, or can we let go? All those decisions go away because we're able to know, what are they aiming for, and then what does the customer need. And so all of the turnarounds that I've been involved in really come down to just simply aligning. And when you make that alignment, things come into play.
So I know you know how much legacy means to me, as we're talking about, bringing your divine intent to the world and living it. Can you share a little bit about what you find is the big holdup for people in general when it comes to legacy?
Well, I think the biggest thing is people don't think about it. I had been a consultant for 15 years, and I had some things in place, but I didn't necessarily think that my life would shift at the age of 44, right? And so I think a lot of business owners put that thought about legacy off instead of really taking the time to think about it. They think about that's something for later, when in reality, the most successful businesses and the businesses that drive the greatest value in the marketplace are the ones that are constantly thinking about legacy. They're constantly thinking about what impact do they want to leave on the world? How do they raise up the next generation of leaders to want to value kind of what that first generation started, and then to be able to take it to the next level? And so, I think it's just really important for business leaders to realize that isn't a someday thing. That isn't a thing once I retire. It's really the heartbeat of your business is the legacy and the impact you want to leave.
Let me ask you, it's very interesting to me because I've been doing a lot of legacy research lately with people, and most of them business owners, and they all seem to think of legacy as money.
Yeah.
How do you go through that paradigm shift with them to think of the legacy as how you're going to leave the world?
Yeah. So I mean, we take a multidimensional approach to helping a business owner walk through their transition. That's why, we don't just focus on the transition planning. We don't just focus on the transaction, the buying or selling. And we don't just focus on how do you grow the value of your business. We really bring it together because you, as a business owner, you want to be thinking about all of that. But the best way that I've practically seen to really bring that alive is, we have workshops where we'll bring a first generation business owner and their spouse together with the second generation, whether it's a management team or it's, their children. And we'll have them go through an exercise where the first generation really thinks about what caused you to start this business in the first place, and what are the dreams you had for the business. What was that kind of initial mission and dreams that you had? And then we have the second generation say, now that you're hearing that, what vision would you put in place for the future? And that just seems to be like a really powerful way of business owners experiencing what it is, because they don't think, we're as business owners, we're busy, we're in the day to day. We don't necessarily think about how it ties to who we are and what's important to us in our mission. And so by bringing them into an experience of that, and then to be able to watch them as they're watching second generation carry on their dream right in front of them, it's really powerful.
I can see that. When I think I know this answer, but I have to ask it anyhow. When do you suggest people start thinking about the legacy, and how's the best way to prepare?
Yeah. So from a legacy perspective, I recommend it should start yesterday, right? I mean, it should start the day we're born. In an ideal world, fathers and mothers would be talking about legacy with their children. I have a family business as well, and we're raising up my kids and their cousins to work together and to be dreaming about how do they steward this family business beyond, even if they're not working in it. So that's kind of like the idealistic answer. From a transition planning part of legacy, we definitely recommend 3 to 7 years. If you're going to be exiting out of your business, you need to start doing transition planning. So that's when a lot of business owners realistically start thinking about legacy. 7 to 10 years if you have a second generation, or even longer if you need, if you've got children or family that need to get ready to be able to carry that weight that you're leaving them. But to your point, transition planning is very different than legacy planning, which is really a lifetime thing. My kids are thinking, I'm coaching my kids how to think about legacy.
Awesome. And it's never too early for any of this talk, and to start our young generation understanding of how important it all is. So thank you very much for doing that. The world is better because of it, for sure. Let me ask you, how often do you see a second generation transition fail?
Well, you can see the statistics are very high in second and third, especially third generation failures. I see it happen all around me. My greatest joy is when it's successful, and really what makes it successful is that intentionality between the two generations, to know that, because first of all, first generation leaders are typically wired very differently than second generation leaders. They're not going to lead their company the same way. And so it's important to be able to help them and position them. That's a lot of the work we do, is to help them position so that that second generation leader can lead and can align to the customer's needs change too. And so it's important that business owners aren't just thinking about who they are and who that next generation is, but how are they going to serve the customers differently.
What legacy does Michelle want to leave the world?
I want the world to say that I have modeled victorious living through continuously bringing out the gold in myself in a way that empowers, encourages people to bring out the gold in themselves.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. What is the gold in Michelle?
That's a really good question. I think it's the first of all, the fact that I believe that there's more out there beyond me. I think that it's the fact that I am wanting to be able to let go of what's important to me to be able to serve somebody else, and the desire to, no matter what happens in life, whether it's my husband passing or I just got through COVID and myself, and whatever it is that hits you, you're going to rise up and you're going to model victorious living, not through what I can do, but how I can help others live life alongside of me.
Well, thank you for being the example that you are, and congratulations on being on the other side of COVID.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been an interesting few months for the country and for the world and for individuals and families. So once again, thank you for being an example of holding yourself at the highest vibration and moving on and through. Is there a piece of guidance that you could leave the listeners with on our way out?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to know your strengths well enough where you can serve through your strengths. Know your weaknesses well enough so that you can humbly accept help in those areas, and then run after whatever it is you have in your heart.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. Thank you so much. Michelle, how can people get in touch with you and learn more about Vision One and maybe even learn more about your family business?
Awesome. Yeah. So my family business is an investment company that invests in manufacturing companies. I have my consulting firm is Vision One High Performance Growth. So it's vision1performance.com. And I recently wrote a book called Unstoppable, which helps to walk people through my journey as an example, but really gives the practical tools. And so that's wearetheunstoppable.com.
Excellent. All that information will be available on Michelle's show page. Just go to themiracleu.com, look for Michelle's show page, and all that information will be available to you.
Awesome.
Thanks again, Michelle, for spending some time with us today and sharing a little bit about you and the amazing things that you're doing for people to really honestly keep our country moving. Because I think as I was doing my research, and you can correct me on this, about 60% of our workforce has to do with the small to mid-sized businesses. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
So you're playing your part in keeping the United States as powerful, as profitable, and more importantly, as service oriented as it is. So we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for what you're doing.
Well, thank you. On behalf of Mary, my wife and business partner, and the entire team at Imagine Miracles, we want to wish each and every one of you a miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleu.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 Mind Awakening Steps Toward Your Unique Purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleu.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.